See, I was preparing, so you can see me watching one of your videos.
Oh, cool.
And I did hear the video about the
curvy.
Yeah, the curvy video this morning. So that was kind of cool. We live, Brandon, on the...
We're live.
What's going on, Tierney Jordan Network?
What's up, Facebook?
Yes. We're going to have a lot of views on this one over here.
Let's see.
Fully expecting like tens of thousands.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay. You just let me know, Brandon, when we're live on the other one as well, assuming the little light goes red.
Yeah, usually I have like what I'm gonna say already, and I just paste it on there. But whenever I paste it,
But it's because it was because of the rain. It was the rain that got you delayed.
We had some issues with the rain, y'all. It is crazy out there on these streets.
Be careful.
Yeah, it's nice and wet, and it seems like in Dallas people don't drive really well.
Rain, snow, ice.
Yeah.
We kind of lump them together.
Yeah.
And the ones that I don't mind the ones that drive slow.
Yeah.
It's the ones that think they can drive well on
Yeah.
rain, snow, and ice.
Yeah.
Especially snow and ice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they fly.
Yeah.
And it's like, really?
I
mean,
passed 3 accidents. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you got here safely.
I did.
I mean, that's important. Alexa, off. Yeah.
We're jamming.
You know, it's always a great day when somebody listens to me right out of the gate. A lot of times it doesn't happen. Brandon's the first one here with me all the time, and he doesn't listen to me. All right, so we're live, right? We're ready to go? Mm-hmm. All right. Guys, I'm super excited because on this jam session, this is the 69th jam session, Tierney Jordan stops by.
Yes.
This is going to be awesome. It is. I'm pumped up about it. I'm excited about it because the more I follow you, the more I get into your videos, the more I really understand who you are. And I love it because I see a lot of similarities in you know, the way I communicate, the passion that I have for what I do, and most importantly, how you are all about helping others and the impact that you can place in other people's lives. You know, how do I serve more people? Mm-hmm. And today, guys, we're going to talk a lot about real estate. We're going to talk about the market shift. We're going to talk about what Tierney's seeing with the buying and selling process right now. But I do want to spend some time, if it's okay, to talk about, you know, agents. You know, you have a big network. You really reach out to help people grow. I know you do a lot of masterminds and things like that. What's important for them to understand? What should they be thinking about if they're in the business and where it's going, and if they're trying to get into the business? Because we have a lot of people that think that this is it's an easy industry. You get into it because you get your life back. Right. You know, you have more control. And I want to kind of go through that because you have a ton of experience with all this stuff. But guys, we got a lot of cameras rolling. I know over here you guys know everything about this girl. Hopefully I'm going to pull something out of it that you don't know, but I want you to kind of give a 30,000-foot view to these other cameras that I can hopefully have my audience get to know you a little bit better.
Sure. So if you're thinking about getting in real estate or you're already in, you definitely have to be conscious of what's going on in the market. So what's happening right now, if you start looking at your specific areas, we're starting to see more inventory and days on the market increase. Which,
there you go. All right, hey, we're back live.
Sorry, you guys. I thought I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But what we're seeing is increased inventory. When you have increased inventory, demand goes down.
Sure.
When demand goes down, price goes down.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're also seeing increased days on the market because when people have options to choose from, they take longer to make a decision. So that directly affects the income. So less closings are gonna start happening, and we're seeing that, which means less income for whoever is making the money on those closings. So it's just something to think about in terms of preparing your business for that. It just means you have to do a little bit more.
Mhm.
And I say double down at this time. And we always double down around October because there's a seasonal shift that happens every
Right.
year,
Yep.
regardless of what we're facing in the market. So seasonally, January, February, March are our slowest months
Mhm.
in terms of how many closings happen.
Well, they can be for those that don't understand the concept of doubling down, you know, in September, October, November, December, because all that activity that you're creating in those months is what continues to drive profitable first quarters,
Right.
right? They get there and it's December and they're like, man, wait a minute, January it looks bad.
Yeah.
You know, February, you know, it's not looking good either. We got to work hard, and you need to be doing that in September and October.
Yeah, it's just less inventory closes. So the
Yeah.
numbers are the numbers. You can be a part of the ones that are closing, and you just have to be more focused with
Uh-huh.
it and purposeful, and getting in front of more people so you have more close. But there is less inventory that's going to close in North Texas in January, February, compared to like December.
Oh, yeah.
We have a little up peak in December, which is cool. So you guys should have a good month this month.
Yeah, everybody
compared
wants,
to
everybody wants to get
November.
in. Everybody wants to get in for you got a couple of big things. You got everybody wants to have their Halloween parties or Thanksgiving, you know, lunches,
Yeah.
football there, and then you got Christmas. I
Yeah.
mean, those are 3 big days that we get to enjoy when it comes to our production because
Yeah.
people really want to get in. October, November, December are historically really big months.
Yeah.
And you know, we talk a lot about this and why we do as much marketing as we do. It's just always never to have, it's never to have that lull, never to have the business dip. It's just to either maintain
Right.
in those Januaries and Februaries that are, yeah, you're right, historically slower, but it's to just make the bigger months even bigger, right?
Oh, yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
those you know, March, April, May are good months. You know,
Yeah.
May, you know, June's a little, people are kind of going on vacation. September's usually pretty big because they got to get in because of school. So how long have you been in real estate?
So I got my real estate license in 2006.
Okay.
I got my broker's license in 2008. I
Fast
worked
track.
for a
Yeah.
mortgage company actually from 1998 to 2005. And I was flipping houses
Uh-huh.
on the side. So I've kind of been in real estate longer than I've had my license, but more so on the investment side.
Okay.
And I worked for First Horizon, which was Sunbelt National.
Sunbelt National.
Yeah,
Yep.
mortgage.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I was there, and the last job that I had with them, because I kind of moved around,
Uh-huh.
is I built websites for their loan officers.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So my degree is in management information systems.
Okay.
I do a lot of internet
That
marketing.
sounds smart.
I do a lot of internet marketing.
Yep.
So I'm on that side of things, but.
So has that, do you feel like coming from the mortgage finance space and then obviously doing the investing, I know has helped, but do you feel all that packaged together, you know, really made you starting out a value, an asset to buyers
Yeah.
and sellers buying and selling
It
homes?
definitely helped because
Yeah.
I understood like the whole life cycle, you know.
Mm-hmm. The whole life cycle of, yeah, just
Of
like the mindset that you go into when you're thinking about buying and selling
and the whole process
investing
behind it.
and buying as an investment.
Yeah.
What's driving you right now to like just continue doing what you're doing, right? I mean, a lot of disruption. We can talk about all that stuff later,
Sure.
but I mean, you know, what's the driving factor for you?
The driving factor for me, it's always been about the people, so the clients. Because when I was an investor, I bought distressed properties. I bought houses that were pre-foreclosures, and when I would sit down and talk to the people, I really felt like in some of the instances, if they had the right representation,
Right.
they might not be in the situation that they were in.
Hmm.
So that made me go get my real estate license in the
Mhm.
beginning. Now I understand what having good representation can do for somebody,
Mhm.
you know, and I don't want people to get tricked into thinking because a company can show up
Yeah.
and they're everywhere, they're paying for space, they're paying to show up in front of you, that means they can really help you, and that means that they can bring value. So I'm driven to really make sure the consumer doesn't get in a bad situation.
So for those consumers out there that think about, okay, well, how do I know this? I mean, you're telling me that, this is how do they know what questions to ask, or what questions should they ask to validate the agent has the experience and is doing what they need to do to protect them?
Ask questions like, how many sales have they had in that area? What's their statistics on how much more they get their clients compared to market value? What's their average days on the market? Are you going to get the most out of your house? That's the biggest question for sellers. And the way that you get the most out of your house is not through an investor. So in most cases, it's not through an investor.
Yeah.
So there's other paths to getting the most out of your property, and a company like let's just say Open Door, they're investors at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So they're gonna purchase like an investor would. So just making sure that you're being fully represented. Are they using their inspectors that are on their payroll? Just things like that.
Right.
And just being educated on what's really happening.
Yep.
And not allowing like a company or an investment firm to capitalize on your weakness, where it might be you're in a hurry. You want to sell quickly. Well, you can sell quickly on the market.
Sure.
If you're with the right real estate person. We just listed a house 2 days ago, and we've gotten 20,000 more than the seller thought they were going to get, what other investors had offered them off the table.
Yep.
Right? And, we're going to close in a week.
It's a network, right? It's a network. You know what you know how to properly market that property to the network of people that will pay 20 grand more than what this person's just saying they're looking for a deal. Everybody, they're making their money on their buy, so they're just trying to make the right buy, which, there's other companies out there, Home Partners of America, all those kinds of, look, for the right reasons, they're good.
Right.
But I know that they can cost you $20,000, $30,000 more, right? By choosing to lease, then purchase with them.
Yeah.
And so you just got to understand it. I think that's kind of where you're at in your business, and what you do with people is, look, first and foremost, I just want to educate you.
Yeah.
Right? I just want to make sure you're aware of all of these things and these options and the pros and the cons. Buyer makes the decision, right? But it's our job, right, just to make them aware of what their options are and how to minimize the cost and what it does cost to make these other decisions.
Absolutely.
Right? So, like when you got into this business, right, transferring in from the finance world and mortgage information systems, was there anyone that was like, did you get a lot of like discouragement, like, hey, you don't want to get into real estate, this isn't going to be the best career, there's too many people out there?
No, I didn't. I had a mentor, and he's still a good friend of mine. He had a small brokerage, and he was very encouraging and helped me, which I don't see a lot in brokerages anymore. Like the way he took me, like handheld me, and showed me how to write up a contract, showed me how to price properties, went on listing appointments with me. Those are the type of things I do with the people in my network.
Right.
Because I'm like, I came from...
You came from that?
Yeah.
Right.
A small brokerage feel, and I took that to another level because I ended up partnering with a, larger franchise. EXP is not a franchise, but a larger umbrella, but I still bring that small brokerage, feel.
Well, you get what you give, and he gave you all of this, right? He gave you hope. He gave you all this opportunity, tools to go build what you built.
Yeah.
And just learning more and more about you, I see that that's what you're giving now.
Yeah.
Right. You got this. Now it's time for you to also give that out there within your network. But characteristics. So you didn't have any discouragement. You had a great mentor. There's a lot of people out here that are either new in the business or, heck, they could be 20 years in the business. They're trying to find their own way still, right?
Sure.
Even after 20 years, you still need to find your way in the business. What's some really good characteristics that an agent, right, that a professional realtor needs to have to impact the most people and themselves in this industry, right?
So you have to have a strong mind. That's like critical. I always tell people it's not real estate is not for the weak or the weary, because you're working from behind, so you're not going to get financial gains right away. So what you're working on today, you're not going to get paid right away. So you have to be committed and consistent, self-motivated. I had my mentor, I had great people around me, but at the same time, everything didn't go perfectly. I didn't get out of the red, meaning I didn't make money for 8 months initially.
Yep.
But I believed in what I was doing. I was passionate about really feeling like, I can help people. I can help them not go into foreclosure. I can help them, not lose their home. So that drove me. So it has to be something bigger than yourself.
You gotta know your why.
It can't be about you and making a whole bunch of money.
Nope.
When I sit down with people and they say that, I'm like, you're going to be out quickly. So it has to be bigger than just you. It can't be about the money. You have to have thick skin. And when I say thick skin, that just means you can't let little things bother you. Stuff is not going to be perfect. You might have 4 deals on the table and lose all 4. What are you going to do? You're going to quit? Or are you going to replace that, and keep going? And Jennifer, one thing she mentioned about you this morning is she said you're consistent. And consistency wins. I tell people, I've seen people who aren't the greatest salespeople, like agents that I've worked with, but because they're consistent and they stay focused, they win at a high level. So I would say being self-motivated, renew your mind every day, focus on good things, and not being easily discouraged. And it's not about the money. Real estate, you can make a lot of money, but that's not what it's about.
No, 100%. I agree with all that, and yes, it can't be about the money. If you're looking to get into real estate, or it could be good money.
Yeah.
But that's a byproduct, right? If you focus on helping more people, other people reach their goals, then your goal becomes a reality.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just the way I've had to, and these are things that are learned. I didn't start this way, guys, 22 years ago when I got in the business, okay? Right. I had to learn this through trial and error. And, I've made, we all make mistakes, right? And so, what I have learned is the more you put people first, the more that you try to help them reach their goals, the more you focus on, okay, how can I help build their career? Or, like with my team, okay, what's important to you? Where do you want to see? Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to go? It's my job and my responsibility to help you get there. And by doing all that, well, ultimately I'm going to reach my goals. Ultimately there's going to be things that are going to happen.
Right.
So you gotta have a bigger why than just the dollar. I think you have to bring a lot of energy and enthusiasm to the business, because it can beat you down.
It can.
It can beat you down, and you gotta be accepting of that, and still bring it like every day.
Right.
That's important. What would be one of the, I guess, if you have to look back over the period of time, what would be one of the things that you wish you would have done differently? We say mistakes, but it's a failing forward moment. What would be something that would maybe help the audience here not go through that you went through that really projected a different outcome in your business?
Trying to think about that one.
Oh wow, I got a good question.
Yeah, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and all things work together for your good. So I always look at something, even if it didn't turn out the way I wanted it. It's like, what can I learn from that? So I never see anything as, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that per se. One thing I can say, I always have to get myself to be humble, because it's so easy but I learned that lesson in high school. I learned a long time ago, don't ever get the big head, is what I tell myself. Tierney, don't get the big head. Don't ever get the big head, because that can turn out bad for you. You know, you never want to get so like caught up in, oh yeah, I'm on video, this person wants to talk to me, everybody knows, whatever. So I think that I learned that lesson in high school to where I would never do it. You know, I always stay humble as much as possible. I do as much as I can to touch as many people as I can, you know, and help. I mean, I can't talk to everybody every day, you know, and I have to have boundaries because I have non-negotiables in my life and with my family, you know, so there's boundaries, but at the same time, so I guess I would just say I learned a lesson in high school that carried me through, because I think it's so easy, especially in real estate. People give you fake numbers. People think they're doing, like, I've talked to people and I'm like, I've looked up your numbers.
I know, I do the same thing. I know.
Like, they get the big head.
Right.
You know, and I would say I haven't got the big head because I learned a lesson back in high school, which made me not get like that. So in real estate, just don't get the big head, because there's so many people that do. They boost their numbers, and then you go look them up. We all have access to go look in the MLS to see what everybody else does. So, you know, you talk to people and they act like they don't have time to have a 10-minute conversation with you, you know, about being open-minded about business or whatever it is, you know. So I don't get the big head because I did back in high school, and I shouldn't have.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's part of understanding who you are, right, and how other people will accept you, and not keeping up with the Joneses and all those kind of things.
Right.
I mean, I've been there. I mean, we all kind of go through that, a little bit of that, and you know, that's part of some of the things that, you know, I could have done differently too. And one big one is I wish I would have learned this earlier on, which is, you know, don't work on your weaknesses. Just continue focusing on all your strengths. And I was always trying to be that person that, you know, I had my strengths, but I always wanted to build up my weaknesses, right? Build it up, build it up, build it up. You can't. I mean, the reality is it's a weakness for a reason. So I'm so much better off in my quality of my life, the quality of my business, everything that goes on, because all I do now is focus on my strengths. And I continue to build those up, because I know I can get those even better, right? The weaknesses, I'm accepting of it. I realize I'm not good at those things. So I put people around me that have those strengths, and then all of a sudden I realize, wow, everybody's happier. They get to focus on what they like. They don't have to worry about this, and I'm happier because I don't have to worry about that. So
that's good stuff.
Little things like that I think are important, guys, to focus on. So the Tierney Jordan Network, it's gotten, I mean, I know you're very competitive, right, a person, but you've built this network because you really want to help other people grow. So give me an idea of what is the Tierney Jordan Network?
So I changed my name from the Tierney Jordan team, and I don't remember the exact time. I need to take the time to sit down and look at when I did it, but I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, because my vision was, it's a network of business partners, national network, where it's similar to what you just described. Like, you're partnering with a network where you can be connected with people who are strong in areas that you're weak. You know, there's resources that are available that you don't feel like putting together. Like, it's already in place.
It's already in place.
You know, so
I call that swipe and adapt. The network, I have a team, which is just a real estate team. It's a small, like, partnerships with agents, and we market together. We use the same system. All of our numbers are together, you know. And then I have a network, which is business partners that are connected with me. They have access. I've put together something called 6-Figure Knowledge. So they have access to all my materials, videos, trainings that I've put together over the years. We also do trainings 4 times a week virtually for everybody in the network. So you do virtual trainings with your group?
Yeah, so they can be in California. We have people in
Okay.
California. We have
Yep.
people in Georgia. We have people in Massachusetts. We're in Maryland, Tennessee. We're in 11 states. We just added somebody from Virginia.
When you say we,
The Tierney Jordan
the
Network.
Tierney Jordan Network.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So, and it's real estate professionals who come together. So, and we're with EXP, so that's how we're connected through the same company.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the network, like I said, you get access to six-figure knowledge.
Right.
You get access to these trainings that we do. And the cool thing is, like, I'm connected to other networks too.
Mm-hmm.
The way EXP is set up, it's like you're connected 7 levels, right? So I have the Tierney Jordan Network, which is part of the Adam Bailey Network, right?
Yeah.
So Adam
Okay.
Bailey is out of Kansas.
Kansas. Yeah.
Right?
What's up, Adam? Hopefully you're watching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Adam did 1,000 transactions last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he brings value to the Tierney Jordan Network, and we're part of his larger network.
His network, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he does trainings for our network. So
Okay.
he runs them, and I used to pay him for coaching, and I used
Right.
to pay him for training for my team.
For yeah.
But he does it on Wednesdays and Thursdays. I host it on Mondays, and then we bring in another guy who's in our network to do advanced sales trainings on Tuesdays.
So there's something going on every day of the week that
Monday through
that your
Thursday.
network can tap into. So Monday through Thursday that your network can tap into
Right.
to further their education.
Yes.
Now I know, guys, we usually do these jam sessions on Wednesday, so this is like a special jam session because you do also have sales meetings with your team on Wednesdays that
Yeah.
prohibited you from being here.
Yep.
But she's so important that I had to roll out a Thursday jam session.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So you do Wednesday sales meetings.
And then I also do on the first and third Saturdays of every month, I do an internet coffee. So it's a virtual, like anybody in my network can jump on and talk to me.
Okay.
I'm on there from 30 minutes to an hour, just depending on how many questions we get.
Sure.
But I'm available, you know, I've done investments. I've owned my own construction company. I've been a mortgage loan officer. I've built websites. I own my own internet marketing company right now. So there's a lot. I've done every type of deal that you can think of. I've sold a $13,000 house. I've done short sales, foreclosures. So I'm available to answer any questions
Help
for
people
my
go through
network
that
on the first and third Saturdays.
But you also do real estate.
Yes.
Like transactions,
I do
individual
real estate
transactions as well.
transactions, yes.
Okay.
So, and I always leave that, like,
That-
when people
yeah.
talk to me, they're like, geez, yeah, I still close deals.
Okay.
Now, this year, my team, the last time I looked at the numbers, we're like around 39 million. So we'll end up this year doing about 43 million total.
Okay. All right.
I made up like 1.6 million. I didn't do a whole bunch of sales this year.
Okay.
Now, in 2016, we did right at 40 million, and I made up about half of that. So it just depends. It depends on, at this year, I wanted to focus on helping people more. Like, yeah, my personal sales business wasn't that great, but I have $10 million, $12 million producers that are on my team. So I've helped people reach their goals.
Help them reach their goals,
You know.
which is helping you
Right.
ultimately in your network. Now, what does 2019 look like? That role as Tierney Jordan Network, the coach, the mentor, and you as the individual producer. Where do you find that?
So right now, like from this month through March, I'm going to be heavy in production.
Okay.
Because I see a shift, it's happening, and I think it's important as a leader that I get in the trenches and I know what's a realistic expectation in terms of numbers. You know, do we have to double down or do we have to triple down? What does it look like? So it helps me to be a better partner, coach, trainer, when I'm really in the trenches. I'm not reading books. I'm not like a coach. Like the biggest real estate coach out there, I'm not going to name any names, but he's never closed a real estate transaction in his life. I'm not that leader. I'm the one who's going to go get in the trenches, and everything that I coach on, I train on, I've done it myself. You know, I've closed over 60 transactions in a year myself, not for my team. I've done that myself. So I can sit down with a high producer, or I can sit down with somebody who wants to increase their sales.
I'm buying into that from a coaching standpoint. Having built companies, right? I've built mortgage companies. The space that I'm in today as a producer, and how I'm on that level when I talk to a new loan officer, or $100 million producer, or a $30 million producer, we're sitting down talking, and I can actually say, look, this is why you need to do it, because I'm doing it on a daily basis, and I can show you proof that it works. Not coming from the coaching world or the CEO world, which is, this is what I think you should do, from the perch,
right.
And not be able to really walk the walk.
Right.
And I love being able to walk the walk. I really do. And I think if you are talking about building a team, talking about building a company, I still think you should always remain in that production role, because you really have to know what they're going through. You really cannot experience the thing that they're having to go through, the shoes that they're walking in, from a CEO role or a manager role that's not doing it daily. It's not making the calls, So
yeah, and it's a different, like, we're switching up our scripts. We switch them up all the time.
Yeah.
And it's really just making sure it's not a script, but it's making sure you're able to connect with people and build enough rapport where you can turn around and provide them value.
Sure.
So I say scripts. I don't really like the way that it sounds.
Yeah, we say the same thing. We say, because like my team, my stories become their stories. At the end of the day, it's still the same story, but then it's just how is it being communicated, and that when we say script, we're just talking about consistency.
Yeah.
That's really all it is, because if it's a $40,000 house or it's a $10 million home, it doesn't really matter. If you're doing 500 transactions in a year, you're doing 1,000 transactions a year, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that one deal.
Right.
Because it's the most important thing to them. And so that's why scripts are important, because it delivers that consistency. That way everybody gets treated the same way.
Right.
Yeah. So we're big on that. I'm like, hey, that was my story. Like, hey, I just took the story, I made it mine. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is.
That's the one of the blessings of partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can use each other's stories. You're connected in business.
Yep. So the disruption. Let's talk a little bit about that. We are seeing, and I'll leave it up to you, kind of what direction you want to go with this. But we are seeing a lot of different things that are coming into this market. Whether it's technology, it's other types of real estate companies, mortgage companies. It's just, I mean, market shift's not really a disruption. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
We're always in a market shift. People are like, oh my God, it's a shift.
Yeah.
Look, guys, it's going to happen no matter what. So we just have to readjust in our expectations.
Sure.
So disruption, what is that to you in your industry, and how are you managing it, and what are you advising other people to do to make it better?
So I'll start with my belief in, like, our transaction in terms of a house, a buyer and a seller. I believe, in my opinion, it's always going to be offline, because there's too much emotion involved, and it's the largest investment people make in their lifetime. Absolutely. Typically. So it's too big of a purchase to happen consistently, like a huge amount of it to happen online. I think it's always going to be offline.
Sure.
So our culture is, we go online to research. We all do it.
Yep.
So people are looking online for houses. Now you have companies who are capitalized, like they're buying up real estate online so that they show up in front of these consumers. So that's the disruption. Now, the other thing is, as real estate professionals, I think it comes back to us, because in the beginning, we didn't want to do digital marketing. We allowed other companies to do digital marketing for us.
Yep.
So now we're having to deal with it, So what I'm doing with my business, I've been doing internet marketing for 8+ years. That's been my bread and butter. I believe in it because I want to get in front of people who are looking, and I believe that's where they go. And that allows me to get in front of people and build rapport, then go get a face-to-face. So I do that. I'm going to continue to do that. We need to be able to get in front of people. I think if you don't have an internet presence, you should. You know, there's plenty of CRMs out there that are going to give you a front-facing, good website, and then tie it into a back end that you need to manage stuff. So I recommend that people have some sort of internet presence. You don't have to pay somebody to do your marketing. I started off doing it myself, you know, and then I had to leverage it out because it didn't make sense. But I don't feel like that part is ever going to go away. I think people are always going to look online, and if they forget about who you are, which
Dude, hey,
most people do.
Don't be the blockbuster. Okay.
Right.
I mean, understand that this is everything.
Yeah.
Right? And this is going to even evolve.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't do anything in business without having the attention
Yes.
of your audience first. So it's up to us, and it's our responsibility, or whatever industry you're in, because we may have other industries out there watching. You got to go get the attention of your audience first and foremost. Utilize the easiest thing to use right now is, and it's free. Take a phone, take a video, and start recording your messages. Be consistent with the audio or video that you put out, and let people know what you do.
Right.
Give them value that they're going to find valuable, and that's ultimately costs you nothing.
Right.
Right? It costs you nothing to do it. Now, yeah, you can go hire a company, you can start doing ads and all those kind of things, which is great. You should, but most don't even. Most won't even go.
Have to.
Right. Most won't even go and say, "Hey, look at this home. I'm previewing the home. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. Oh, hey, you know it's in a school zone." That's valuable information for that person that needs to hear it.
Right.
And I think too many people get caught up in, you know, the internet piece and like how many likes do I have or how many views. And Jen and I talk about this all the time. And you know, we don't. I work really hard because I could go down that path and I'm like, no, you can't. It doesn't matter. The
Just
person that needed to see it will see it.
Right.
And that is all that matters. The one person, if you had one view, then that's the right person. If you had 1,000 views, somebody in there needed to hear that message.
Right.
And that's why you commit to doing it, because it's not about the money. It's about the overall impact and education, right? Because most will say, well, I put out a video or I did this ad, I didn't get anything back. Well, you're not going to. You could put out hundreds before you get something back, and you have to be committed to the education side of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So disruption, you see technology.
I mean, disruption is here. There's going to be companies that they want to replace real estate professionals, and they will replace the people who don't know what they're doing.
Yep.
If I sit down, if I'm able to get in front of a client and I'm able to get in front of them before they talk to an open door, they won't go with open door, point blank, because I understand what open door is doing, and I understand what value I bring as a real estate professional, and being able to articulate that and explain it to the consumer is something that I can do, you know. Now, other people might say, well, I'm going to get in front of people by door knocking. I just choose to do the internet because I think that that's where it's going. It's already gone there.
Yeah, it's there.
Know, that's my personal opinion. I don't pay Zillow. I don't pay realtor.com. I own my own internet marketing company. Like I said, I started off myself doing it myself, and then I leveraged it out. So I don't pay for leads. I generate my own leads. And there's a process behind it. I've seen a lot of people come and go over the last 8 years on the internet space, a lot of real estate companies, and I think it's because, and I hear people say, oh, those leads don't work. You have to have the right process set up. You have to know how, you can't call, you know, one time or two times, and that's what most people do. You have to call within 5 minutes. You have to call and not be a salesperson, because most people are at least 90 days out. So there's a process that goes along with it.
You have to be in the right mindset. You have to put yourself in their position as to why you think they're in it. Most people, when they get into thinking about buying a home, right? So husband and wife, or just husband or significant other, whatever, they're sitting there laying in bed. Like, you know what, let's you know, I think we should buy a house. And she goes, let's say, hey, should we call Tierney? Oh, no, let's start looking online first, right? that could be 18 months before they make the decision to actually purchase the home, right? So if we're doing the right internet marketing and we're putting ourselves in front of them 12 to 18 months in advance, especially for me, they're not even thinking about mortgage.
Right.
So I can't be out there talking about mortgages at that point in the nurturing process. So what other stuff do you bring? And you got to understand their mindset. And it's a long game.
It's
right?
a long
It's
game.
a long game.
And a lot of people aren't committed to it.
Right.
Technology helps us. Like we tag our people. So, and when I say tag, like it's just a technology thing that's part of our CRM. But we're gonna tag them based on their area. We're gonna tag them based on their time frame, and then we're gonna categorize them.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps us. Like if I pull all my nurtures in Plano,
Mm-hmm.
I can send them a message about, hey, there's a tree lighting going on.
Right.
You know, so you have to touch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 89%, the statistics are 89% of people will use their realtor again if they remembered who they were. You know?
Right.
And a lot of times they don't because we don't nurture. And the money is made in the follow-up.
Is there any specific piece of technology or thing that they need to do if they're an agent out there that you'd recommend? Say, hey, this is a piece of technology or you know, the name or whatever, but I mean, what they need to be doing to be successful?
You have to have a CRM. I tell people that all the time. You can't keep everything up here. You have to have something that is going to help you and create leverage for you and your business, but don't allow technology to replace you. So you use it, you use it for what it is, but you can't just set somebody up on an automatic drip and never call and never have a conversation with them.
Properly leverage it. You know, we talk about, like, in this go forward for any industry, guys, I really feel this with disruption in any industry. So you have your top players, you have your bottom players. The ones that I feel are have the biggest loss opportunity and the ones that could get out of the industry, whatever industry it is, the quickest, are the ones in the middle. And the reason I feel that way is the A's will always utilize something like this to get better at what they do. The ones down here, they don't have very far to fall, man. They bounce right up, right? They have that ability to do it. They can get out, but they don't have very far to fall. The ones in the middle are the ones that I get most worried about because they're just happy, they're complacent. They you know what, it's been that way forever. I'm just gonna continue doing what I'm doing. I'm not gonna get replaced. Those are the ones that take up a big portion of especially in our industry, a big portion of the transactions that are out there. They do the deal every quarter, 2 deals a quarter, or whatever, but that's a large number. And I'm okay with them getting out of the business because that means the A's will get a bigger share because they run businesses. But those are the ones I always talk to, and I'm like, look, you guys got to really embrace this stuff. If you don't, I know you've been in it 20 years, I know you've been in it 10 years, you're happy, you're content. You're going to lose business. You're going to feel some pain.
They'll be out soon because when the market really does shift, and when I say shift, I mean like in 2009, if you compare the amount of transactions that happened in North Texas each month to the last 5 years, it's about half somewhere. So what happens when you have a market shift, inventory increases, sales decrease, income decreases too.
Yep.
So that means in the marketplace, there's less income available for real estate professionals.
Yep.
Right? So with that less income available, the people who aren't closing deals are gonna end up just getting out the business. And like you said, those A people, we're gonna make, after everybody gets out, we're gonna do even better in our businesses.
So those buyers, so that as this market shifts, meaning more inventory, right? It's not like we're seeing price depreciation. We're just seeing price realization, right? So sellers are getting more real with the pricing strategy. So that $300,000 house, they priced at $325 because less competition, more inventory, or less inventory, I'm sorry, and then so buyers are paying more.
Right.
Now, more inventory, so they're saying, okay, that house is really worth this, let's go ahead and price it at that, right? That's what I feel we have. Now, with this inventory, how does that help or hurt buyers, and what are you kind of recommending and educating your buyers on as they're making offers?
So it really depends on the particular area, but you explained it correctly. If what we've come out of is 3 buyers, let's say 3 buyers to one house. When you have 3 buyers to one house, in order to win, they're gonna pay more. So they've been paying over market value for the last 5 years to win because of limited inventory. So you'll see like 3 buyers to one house, and then one's only gonna get it. So now you have 2 buyers, and then another house comes up. These people are gonna pay over too.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna pay over because they just lost out on that last deal.
The last deal.
So they're gonna pay over to get this. And then you've got 1 buyer now. And then when that house comes up, they're probably gonna pay over because they don't wanna even compete with anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens, how we see the shift, and think about this from a buyer's perspective. So now, let's just say those neighbors of that one house,
Mm-hmm.
those houses that just sold over market, they're like, let's just list our houses. You know, the neighbor got 25, 30,000 over, so we're gonna just list. They're not really motivated to sell.
Right, exactly.
So 2 houses come up, and then somebody decides they're truly motivated. They really need to sell, so they list their house. Now you got 3 houses,
Mm-hmm.
let's just say, and 1 buyer, right? So this one is very motivated. So what are they going to do? They're going to drop their price, right?
Yep.
So buyers can see if you're looking in an area and there's a few houses that are available, there might be some flexibility on the price. What you can't do though, you can't wait to purchase because the interest rates, what's going to happen when the Fed is not making the money that they normally make, like more money on the deals, right? They're going to increase the interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
That interest rate, if you bought a house today, a $200,000 house, based on where the rates are, let's just say your payment's like around $1,600 a month, right? You're saying, no, I'm gonna wait because they're saying the prices are going down. So you wait, that $200,000 house goes down to $180,000. But let's just say the rates have gone up. And now your payment on that $180,000 house is $1,800.
Mm-hmm.
So you're paying more for a $180,000 house than you did for a $200,000
Now
house.
she's speaking my language.
So you can't wait. If you're a buyer,
Yeah.
now is the time. It's
Yeah.
the time to sell too, because we're at really the highest point that we've seen in a very long time in terms of pricing.
Mm-hmm.
So the next point is downward, you
Yeah.
know? So if you're not in your forever home, or if you're a buyer who's thinking, like, I want to get something else, or I want to get out of paying somebody else's mortgage because I'm renting and I'm just paying their mortgage and I'm not investing in my own thing,
Mm-hmm.
now's the time to do it because the rates are still really good.
Oh my gosh! I mean, you're still. I mean, if you're getting, we're still doing rates in the 4s. So, I mean, it's like kind of like it's still low. Yeah, we're not doing the 2s and 3s anymore, and yeah, it's not the 4% range. But as we move towards 5, I mean, we're still doing 4s, but as we're moving up into those 5s,
Still good rates.
it's still great rates historically. And yeah, we do project rates to be in the 5s next year. Absolutely, it's going to take something that's going to have to alter the bond market, meaning stocks are going to have to get killed. I mean, we're going to have to see, you know, the stock market really crash to a certain level to get that bond market altered and changed. I mean, there are obviously other influences that could happen, you know, overseas and things like that in other countries that could impact us, but you know, I mean, we've been in a good place, and,
Right.
and we've had a good run, and the Fed, you know, has done what they needed to do to increase the rates. Now, the kind of the comments and questions around where we are with inflation and stuff like that, are they going to really increase again in December? You know, we were really heavy thinking that they would be increasing, and a lot of things that have been coming out have been changing our projections to where they may not increase this month, and then tackle on what we need to do, you know, first quarter of 2019. So they may not. Which is a good thing, right? I mean, we need a little bit of that, relief, I think, with all of our Fed increases.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to the Fed chairman, I know you do. You know, we don't need an increase this month. So EXP, you know, tell me about what's going on there. We have agents that listen, but buyers as well. So you know, what's happening with that company? Why did you make the decision to go to EXP? What does that look like for somebody building their franchise, their business? Give me a little bit about an insight into that.
I got to a place probably about a year and a half ago where I wanted more out of what I was doing. I wanted a larger, like, I just wasn't seeing come to pass, like, what I was getting. I started talking about, like, growing a network,
Mhm.
you know,
Yep.
and having more partnerships where I could help more people, you
Yep.
know. I was frustrated with that and the growth. And so I was looking for something else. So I looked into ownership with KW. I looked into ownership with Remax. And then when I looked at the EXP model, I was like, wow, I didn't even realize this existed.
Right.
You know, and they've been around since 2009, and I just went over in February. So I sat down. What made me think about it is I saw two people that I really respected in the industry, who have been in the industry a long time, run really big businesses, go over, and I was like, I need to just look at it.
Sure.
Right? So what I found out is EXP is an agent-owned brokerage. So and it's a national company. You know, like I said, I've been there since February. I'm in 10 states, and I have 168 people in my network in that short time.
Wow.
So that's growth that I was looking for.
Yep.
And, you know, what it is EXP will pay revenue, a portion of the revenue, 7 levels deep from every person you share the company with that signs up. Okay? So if I shared the company with you, you come on, you're like, Tierney told me about it. Anytime you do a deal, the company is going to pay me a portion of the revenue. Now, remember, revenue minus expenses equals profit, so the revenue is the big number. So if you close a $300,000 deal, the revenue on that deal is $9,000. I'm going to get a portion of that.
Gotcha.
And anybody you tell about the company, I'm going to get a portion of their revenue.
Gotcha.
And anybody they tell about the company, so 7 levels deep from every person you tell,
Okay.
a percentage of the revenue. So just to give you an example, like if you close a $300,000 deal, you're on my first level, I make 3.5% of that, which is like $315.
Sure.
Okay? So the revenue share was something that was cool because for me, when I was at other companies, I saw people who weren't part of a team get frustrated because they didn't have support, they didn't have partnerships. Well, the revenue share kind of solves that. Because the larger, if you're under me, if I help you to grow your business, it's growing my business because we're connected through revenue, right? So it kind of solves the issue of if somebody doesn't want to be on a team, but they want to be partnered with someone who's going to help them grow their business,
Right.
they can do it in that type of model. So it was like win-win. The other thing is I get stock with the company. So any other real estate company that you're with, you're gonna pay a portion of your proceeds to be part of that company.
Portion of your revenue,
Right.
Right. To be part of the company. Okay.
So at EXP, it's a cap, $16,000 a year, and it's an 80-20 split. Okay. Now, when I closed my first deal with the company, I got 125 shares of stock. When I told somebody about the company and they closed their first deal, I got 175 shares of stock for each person. Okay?
Wow.
When I capped with the company, so for me, capping is like 8 deals, all right? Because it's 16,000, 80-20, average sales price 300,000. It takes you about 8 deals to cap, right? So when I cap, or anybody else caps with the company, when I capped, I got 175 shares. Okay. Now, when you cap with EXP, you go to a flat fee of $250 per transaction for 20 transactions. If you do 20, so let's say you're an agent who does 28 transactions a year, that makes you an icon agent. So I became icon after a few months with EXP. That means I capped plus I closed 20 more deals at a $250 flat fee. So that's another $5,000 investment. Hopefully I'm not, because $250 times 20 is $5,000. So I paid in my $16,000 cap plus my $5,000, right? When I did that, I became an icon agent. Icon made me eligible to receive $16,000 back in stock.
So back in stock.
right?
Wow, okay.
So I've been with the company since February, and I've earned over $400,000 in stock
Okay.
just from being there
Just
and
from being
paying in
Sure.
what I would pay any other company that I'm with. Now my revenue,
Uh-huh.
I'm also getting the revenue piece.
Okay.
Every month it hits my account, okay? So I'm actually, it doesn't cost me anything to be at EXP because
Mhm.
I've gotten my full cap back
Mhm.
in stock, right? And I'm getting revenue. So I looked at how much revenue I made since February, and it's close to like $60,000 passively
In
the revenue
in
share.
the revenue share. Gotcha. Okay. So in the revenue share.
In the revenue share. So it, for me, and any agent who who's looking to have ownership in a larger company, it gives me a portion of ownership because I'm getting a portion of the revenue. I'm getting stock ownership in the company just from doing my business, right? And I'm also able to collaborate with the people who I'm connected through revenue share.
So for those that just says EXP's an MLM, what would you say to that?
It really isn't. I've never been part of an MLM, but what I know about MLMs is like the people at the top are the ones who really make it, right? And it's not the case because for me, like, if I do more than Adam's the one who brought me in, Adam Bailey, okay? So I'm under him, I'm in his first level. Now, you don't automatically earn 7 levels deep from each person. You have to unlock the levels by the amount of people you brought.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
So it's 5 people per level, okay?
Gotcha.
So if Adam only brings in 4 people,
right.
4 heavy hitters, right? And he never unlocks the revenue share, I'm gonna make more than him, right?
Right.
So I look at like a pyramid as the people at the top make the most, but this isn't that because you have people that are under other people that are making more than the people that are above them.
Sure.
So it's you're being compensated for your contribution. Whatever you contribute to the company, you close more deals, you get more stock. You tell more people about the company, you get more revenue share. You know, so it's not about who you know. It's not about how long you've been at the company, what you look like.
It's not coming from one place. It's diversified. So the stock piece is a big part of that.
Yeah.
Right. So the healthier the company is as a whole and continues to grow and be profitable, that stock price continues to rise. And I know, I mean, it was a penny stock. Now it's not.
No. Yeah. When I first came in, it was a penny stock, and after a month, we had been uplisted to the NASDAQ. And when I came in, it was like $6.85. And the last time I looked at it, it was close to $16 a share, or $15, something like that.
Right. So there's been some money made. There's definitely been some paper money made on the for people, and that's wealth creation, right? So we always look for, okay, what's the opportunity, what's bringing as an individual more wealth opportunities to me being in an industry, right? So you fully support and endorse what EXP is bringing to the table and what it's allowing you as the Tierney Jordan Network to do to help other people.
Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah. What else we got? I mean, this was easy. This was like an hour, and man, we just flew through it.
Yeah. No, I think that's everything. I appreciate you for having me on.
No, it was important, guys. I mean, I knew Tierney was going to bring a lot of wisdom, not just from the buyer-seller perspective, because we do have a lot of just industry people that end up watching our jam sessions, and I'm so thankful for you guys that do watch it. But I knew you'd bring a lot of value, and I knew you wouldn't hold back anything, and you would share. And that's important to me, is always to bring value to the audience, but then also let my audience know who you are. I mean, you know, more than likely everybody probably knows you. Some of them may know you more than they know me, but you know, that's important, is to hopefully, you know, at some point down the road, 6 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years down the road, somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey Bob, I watched your jam session. I got so much value out of it. Thanks for introducing me to Tierney."
Yeah.
That's why we do these things.
I
appreciate you joining in. Guys, thanks so much for hanging with us. Obviously, as you always know, if we rocked it, give me some thumbs up. If we didn't, it's because of me, not her. Tell me I sucked. I'll do better the next time. But appreciate you guys hanging in there on this Thursday special edition jam session. Hope you guys have a great day, and please make somebody else's day even better. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
What's up, guys? Okay, we're off on ours. See you later, Facebook. Woo! Take care. Have a good one.